Hey guys, welcome back to the LOJ Conversions YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to tell you all about my Godzilla Swapped 2005 F250. A few years ago at LOJ Conversions, I actually purchased a Godzilla engine and transmission dropout to actually use for development of new products, new transmission adapters, and other things of that sort for the LOJ Conversions business product line. And like so many car guys, after doing the 3D scans and some development work with the engine, it's been sitting in the corner of the shop for years. It's a 0-mile takeout, and I'm like, I need a vehicle to wrap around this engine. So I've been keeping my eye out for years for older Super Duty trucks, because I actually had a 2022 F250 with a Godzilla as a tow rig. I love that truck, but when we got an RV and started pulling our trailer with the RV, didn't really have a need for it anymore, got rid of it, but I still had this engine. And I started doing some research, obviously after designing the adapter with the Godzilla engine, figured out that all of the Ford modular motors actually have the same bolt pattern. If you know any of our background, we're LS guys, so a lot of the Ford stuff was new to me. I didn't know that at the time, but basically then I started going on the hunt for older Super Duties that were actually gas trucks. And frankly, I started my search looking for excursions, but one of the things I love about the 05 and up F250s is that they swapped from the front leaf springs to coil springs. The trucks have a better turning radius, they ride better. So my search kind of was for both excursions and F250s, hoping that I could find both cheap enough that I could take the running gear from an F250 that was coil sprung, put it under an excursion body, and kind of build the ultimate truck. But I was having trouble finding any excursions up here, and this F250 showed up in my Facebook Marketplace search like so many car guys do, and it is an original Arizona truck. It lived most of its life down there. It's been in one family, though, between a different father and son over the years, and it's only got 81,000 miles on it. And the best part was it had a 5.4 Triton gas motor with a rod through the side of the block, so it was the perfect candidate for a conversion. You know, it's a manual transfer case XLT model, optioned as high as it could be. So it's got power windows and power locks and keyless entry and carpet instead of vinyl. But other than that, it's a pretty basic truck. And frankly, I like that because basic trucks generally tend to be more reliable. When you add all these electronic gizmos to them, it's just more stuff to break. And I just needed a good, reliable truck to drive every day, run around and grab parts, that kind of stuff. So I figured I'll buy the F250, and if I love it, then maybe in the future I'll look for an excursion and do it again, or buy an excursion and swap all of this stuff from this truck into it. But that's for another video. This is where we're at right now. So I've got this F250. I found it on Facebook, picked it up for a little bit more than I would have liked to pay for it, but it was the perfect rust-free truck, which is pretty much impossible to find in the Northeast and in New Jersey. They're all rotted out by now, at least the ones from this era. And then we got started on the conversion.
What vehicles did the Godzilla come in?
I think they were released in 19 or 20, maybe 18, like in that range. Yep. As a big gas option. The F250s used to have a F250, F350 had the 6.2 gas and the diesel, and then they added the Godzilla as like a bigger gas option between the 6.2 and the diesel in that time frame. And then in the later years, I want to say in like 04, they replaced the 6.2 with a 6.8 Godzilla. So there's actually a 6.8 Godzilla and a 7.3 Godzilla now. They're both push rod, iron block, whatever. I don't know if it's a bore difference or a stroke difference between them. I haven't done any research, to be honest with you. But then the Godzillas came in the 250s, 350s, 450 and 550 cab and chassis trucks you could get them, but the 450 pickups were all just diesel. And then they were in the E-Series vans, like Blaine's camper has a 7.3 Godzilla in it. Yep. And they actually put the Godzillas in F650 and 750 dump trucks too. They're just geared to the moon to like get the, you know, torque or whatever out of it that you need.
Do you have any idea what kind of power they make, like numbers wise? Just
I want to say it's like close to or over 400 horsepower and over 400 pound-foot. Yeah. Or maybe high 300s horsepower. I know like the cabin chassis versions are detuned from the pickup versions for like they turn less RPM and they make less power. Like Blaine's camper has, it's an E-Series van, it's an E450, so it's got the detuned version. So it redlines at like 4,000 RPM. You put a tune on that alone, and I know it gains 160 horsepower from a tune. But it basically just puts the pickup tune on the cabin chassis truck. Yeah. And it doesn't make the power because it doesn't rev. And they make it not rev so that they last a really, really long time in fleet use.
Okay.
But like, yeah, I mean, super quiet, just driving around. Like you would never, my wife was like, oh, this is great. And then, you know, you floor it and it's like, holy smokes. It
comes alive.
Oh, for sure. I knew from my research and the work I did on the adapters for the Godzilla that it's the same modular pattern as all the other older motors. So I basically believed what I read on the internet that told me this engine would bolt straight to the ZF6 transmission in the truck. And lo and behold, it did. I ran a clutch and flywheel from a V10 truck because it's just simply a bigger clutch. The 5.4 clutch would have worked as well, but with the power and torque that a Godzilla makes, I wanted a factory kind of feel in the pedal. I didn't want to, you know, have a really stiff aftermarket clutch, so I ran a stock V10 clutch. Holds plenty for a stock Godzilla motor and has a great feel, great drivability. From there, we bolted the engine to the transmission and it just became fabrication time, figuring out what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done. I made my own motor mounts, kind of with using the bushings from a 6-liter diesel truck and made my own brackets to connect the engine to those mounts. I went searching online for a factory Godzilla 7.3 Y pipe to run the factory manifolds and then hopefully try to adapt it to the stock exhaust on the truck or build my own exhaust. That was kind of the plan of where I was at. In the process of searching for that Y pipe on eBay, I came across a killer deal that some junkyard, I guess, parted out a 2020, 2022 7.3 Godzilla F250 that had a full stainless works exhaust. I'm talking headers, catted Y pipe, full exhaust system, and I picked that up for a song. Like, what a deal I got on that. And I was like, you know what, worst case scenario, I got to modify it a little bit to make it fit. And the awesome thing was the headers pretty much fit. There was one primary on each side that had to reroute because the cross member on these older trucks is different than the cross member on the newer Allumaduties, and it doesn't have quite as much room. So I basically modified one runner on each side. The Y pipe fit, but I had to modify the transmission cross member to clear the exhaust because the older trucks had a single pipe going over the cross member and the newer trucks have dual pipes. So just needed a little more room there, but that really wasn't a difficult modification at all. And the rest of that new truck exhaust system literally bolted right in and fit perfectly. The only difference was the exhaust hangers had to be switched from parallel pin hangers to 90-degree pin hangers, and it literally all the hangers lined up and it fit like it was made for the truck. So, you know, stainless works. If you ever watch this video, you can modify your header design just a little to make it bolt into the old trucks for swaps too. Yeah, just saying. Yeah, so.
Dude, that thing sounds great.
Yeah, she boogies, she sounds good. Fun fact, this guy right here bought a Frontier drop kit from us. Oh, nice. And I hand delivered it. I was like, you know what, dude?
That's so satisfying.
Yeah. And it looks like it's lowered. Look at it.
Oh,
there it is. That's a lowered Frontier using our kit.
That's an LOJ kit.
Nice. His name's Craig.
How cool, dude.
Then we moved on to figuring out accessories. You know, if I'm going to build a truck like this and drive it every day, I want everything to work, air conditioning, heat, all the gauges, all that kind of stuff. So again, it's like Ford made it to do these conversions. I kid you not, the 5.4 Triton AC compressor and power steering pump bolted right to the Godzilla motor. No adapters, no brackets, no nothing. They just bolted on. The AC compressor, the belt lined up perfect. To the power steering pump, the belt was off by one rib, but because it's a press-on pulley, all I needed to do was pull that pulley one rib forward, and then that belt lined up perfect too. We ran the stock Godzilla alternator. Again, it's like they made it for swaps because that's a self-exciting alternator. You literally just need to hook up the charge cable and nothing else, and it will charge the battery. So that was super easy. From an engine management side, we ran basically the Ford Performance Godzilla engine pack. Now that's a ECU body harness, and then it relies on you running the factory engine harness that came on your engine. It's set up for manual transmission. It comes with like a cold air intake, which we did have to modify, and it comes with a throttle body adapter because the hardware in that computer is actually Coyote hardware, so you have to run a Coyote throttle body and not a Godzilla throttle body. That's a Ford thing that I don't know why, but that's the way the control pack comes, so that's what we did. And we basically used that harness and ECU setup to run the whole engine. I did have to do quite a bit of adapting work to make the gauges work and everything in the truck, and that's kind of a deep dive stuff. And frankly, I'm going to follow up this video with a more technical video in the future where I'll run into all the details on that, but here I'm just trying to give you a high-level overview of what I did on this build. So under the hood here, I'm just going to kind of point out some of the stuff that I did to make the conversion work. And Like I said, the Ford controller pack came with its own intake, but frankly, it just doesn't work well in a truck application, mainly because the weird angle that the throttle body comes off and just how far the air filter needs to be from the engine for it to fit. So what I actually did was separated this rubber accordion from the mass air sensor. This used to be glued right into here, and then I fabricated this pipe and bought some high-strength epoxy that's designed for mating plastics and rubbers to metal, and epoxied it back together, painted it flat black, and it's as close to stock looking as it can be. I mean, obviously it is a fabricated piece, but it allowed me to use this upper part of the intake that has all the ports on it for connecting the crankcase vents and all that kind of stuff. And frankly, it fits pretty well in my opinion. I talked earlier about like the radiator fan and shroud setup. There's a ton of room between the radiator and the engine, but I built this shroud myself, uses some high flow SPAL brushless fans, and one of the things you have to do to make the gauges work in the truck is you actually have to keep the factory 5.4 ECU plus the new ECU. And the 5.4 ECU, you just feed it sensor inputs from like a factory 5.4 coolant temp sensor, a factory 5.4 crank angle sensor, and by wiring those sensors to the ECU and leaving it connected to the truck thinks the 5.4 engine is still there, so the tach works and the coolant temp gauge works. Even like the low oil pressure light still works and all that kind of stuff, but I had to add those 5.4 sensors to the Godzilla. So the Godzilla ECU is reading the Godzilla sensors, and the 5.4 ECU is reading the 5.4 sensors, and both sets of sensors are on the engine. It sounds complicated, but it's really not. It's about, I don't know, 6 or 8 wires that you have to hook up for sensors to make it work. Pretty straightforward. Like I said earlier, the 5.4 power steering pump bolted right to the engine, and it's pretty much in the stock location. So the factory hoses all worked for the stock reservoir and to go to the steering box and all that kind of stuff. I had to like bend one end of the hose slightly just to get it to clear something. I don't remember exactly, but it was slightly modified. The AC hoses hook right up to the 5.4 AC compressor, and that's right in the stock location. Didn't have to modify them at all. So like from a plumbing standpoint, it's really pretty straightforward. It's an easy conversion. I know I keep saying that in this video, but it really is. Coming from a guy who owns a business where we put like LS engines into old 300ZXs, and there's tight confines and everything needs to fit in a very specific way to make it work. This was like, oh my gosh, just plug it all in and let's go. For the cooling system, I ran a factory 6-liter diesel radiator instead of the 5.4. It drops right into the truck, but it's got 2 or 3 cores thickness as opposed to the 5.4 is only a single core. So it's way more capacity. The factory Godzilla mechanical fan didn't really work with the shroud in the truck, so we designed our own shroud and electric fan setup where I run a pair of SPAL brushless high flow electric fans. I've got, you know, some relief dampers in the shroud for when you're driving down the highway so you don't get high pressure buildup inside the shroud, custom radiator hoses, things like that, normal stuff for an engine conversion. Honestly, the shroud and fans was one of the hardest part of this swap, but honestly, it's a very easy conversion to one of these trucks. It's almost as if Ford made it to be done that way. Beyond that, we had to do some modifications to the fuel system to get the correct fuel pressure and all, but you know, again, there's a little tech stuff going on there, and I'll give more details of that in a future video. And honestly, I've driven the truck now for a year. I've put 12,000 miles on it with the conversion. It averages 12 miles per gallon, which is really not great, but it's about what a new Godzilla truck would do. And people always, you know, they kind of hate on the gas trucks because the diesel has so much more capability, but frankly, for like a daily driver in a truck that you don't tow with every day, the gas trucks are great because I can buy an entire crate motor from Ford of a Godzilla engine for basically what it would cost to bring your diesel truck to the dealer to have the injectors fixed if there's a problem with the fuel system. So, you know, there's a lot to be said for the lower cost of entry and the lower cost of major maintenance and overhauls. I think the fact that you can get in this truck and drive it and like, you wouldn't know that this is swapped. Like somebody would get in this and get it and drive and be like, it's just a clean old Ford, man. It just works. You know, I love the way it sounds. And I love the fact that we're cruising right now, just having a conversation, and it's like quiet.
Incredibly quiet.
And then when you step on the go pedal, it's loud and it makes all the right noises and it sounds great. I know too that the Godzillas have had this reputation of having lifter issues. My 2022 truck, I put 50,000 miles on it, never had a problem. I put 10,000 on this so far, haven't had an issue. Who knows what'll happen in the future? Listen, if it breaks, we fix it. Everything breaks, nothing's perfect. Every engine out there has some kind of hitch in it that you have to deal with, and that's just what it is with these trucks. I have a closed deck, 20-foot, 10,000 pound rated car trailer, so it's a 6 lug axles. It's a bit of a heavier trailer. I know with nothing on it, it's 2,500 pounds. And I've put like Nissans on it, like 350Zs, Subaru BRZs, not super heavy stuff. So maybe the total weight of the trailer is, 7,000-8,000 pounds tops with some of the stuff I pulled, whether it's pickup trucks or whatnot. And it tows great. Towing with a manual transmission is like, it's definitely more challenging than automatics. This has that granny low first gear though, that like, it's a stump puller if you wanted. So it does fine. I mean, I haven't towed anything over 10,000 pounds with it. I haven't put like an enclosed trailer behind it because I don't have one that I would move. Although I did move my giant stacker trailer around the yard with this, and it did it. I actually put the transfer case in low range and then used low, and it was basically, you didn't even have to give it throttle, it just, goes. So one of the things I love about this truck is that it's got some options. It's a base model truck, but at least it's got power windows, power locks. The interior is super clean and it's all original, and normally people like to watch videos because stuff's all modified, but in the case of this truck, I wanted it to appear as if Ford built it this way, and that's kind of the case in point right here. Everything inside is still stock, still original, still clean, and it all still works. Like the factory gauges all work, air conditioning, climate control, all that good stuff. So, not much to look at, but there's not too many clean F250s from 2005 left running around with a manual trans and transfer case. Even though the back seat's small, when we go camping and all, they fit back there. I mean, my kids right now are 11 and 15, so they're not huge. They'll fit back there, a little cozy with the pup in there, but they don't mind. But like I said, in the future, we'll probably swap out to something bigger. But for now, it serves a purpose perfectly for what we're doing with it. So, I've loved driving the truck for the last year, put a bunch of miles on it, literally driving it every day, commuter vehicle. And frankly, the biggest downside of it is that it's not an excursion. It doesn't have the space for like the kids and the dog. It's like, yes, when we go camping, I'll flat tow it. And when we're just shooting around the campground and seeing sights, we don't mind all being bunched into that back seat. But like, an extended cab F250 doesn't have a ton of room inside. It's not the most comfortable. And even though my wife promised she would learn to drive stick when I built this, she still hasn't. And I can't fault her. She does so much for me. She supports me in all the things I do. I got to build something with an automatic for the next one. So honestly, I'm probably going to let this go at some point in the future. But for now, it's been a great truck for me, and I would most definitely build one again. It's so easy to do. I could probably do one of these conversions in a week or two, just working on the side after hours. It's really a great swap. So if you've got an itch to build one of these first generation trucks and you don't care for the 7.3 or 6-liter diesels, dude, find a gas truck cheap with a blown motor, 5.4 or a 6.8 V10 truck, and throw a Godzilla in it, because honestly, it's not that hard and it's an awesome truck to drive. Hey guys, that's a wrap on this video. I really hope you enjoyed the content about this truck. It's something that's a lot different than what you normally see on our channel, but LOJ messes with engine swaps and everything, not just putting LS motors in Nissans, and this is certainly something different and something you guys can build yourselves. And by the way, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe to us here on YouTube, and also give us a follow on Instagram and Facebook. We've got tons of content coming at you all the time.